You obviously want to win every game, but beyond what it does in the standings, how important was this win just to get past the recent little skid that you had?
I think that's exactly it. It's a confidence, get our confidence back, especially after that last game, and really just the way we played the last game. There's nothing good about the last game. What was important was the way we started today. We were sharp when we started. We hit some shots. We were confident. We came out the second half, hit some shots, and it certainly helped Keena's threes. And then every time Houston cut the gap and cut the deficit, she'd go in and hit a big three. And she had a good shooting night. The thing is, when I look at this, I look at Akil and I look at Keena, and then I look at the rest of it. I didn't say anything to our kids after the game because they need to get out to the clinic, but we still have to have more contributions from everybody.
After the game against Rutgers, you talked about how any loss, big or small, is really reflected in how you respond the next time out. You mentioned the UCF game that you played. What did you say after that game or between that game and today that led to the performance you got today?
I think all our players, I think we were embarrassed with the way we performed at UCF. We didn't play well in any facet of the game. They knew it. I didn't like our effort there, and I felt like we were playing with that other game hanging over us a little bit, and we just our effort, our defense wasn't good there. Our communication wasn't good. It just that was probably the worst game we played dating back to last year. So it was important for us to come back and have a good start because we didn't have a good start at UCF. It was important for us to come back, win this game for our confidence, but also because you don't play for a week. And you want to come off that bye and enjoy that week. And if you lose a game, especially a game on paper, you're supposed to win. And at home, you're supposed to win. And, of course, that's all on paper, and that's all, for the media and stats. But you just want to feel good about this next week. And it's like I said, you don't want to go not win this game and then have to wait a week to play your next game.
You tied your career high in points, and you set a new career high in three-pointers. Did you see anything in the way you practiced this week or during warm-ups that led you to believe you might have a day like this?
A little bit after the UCF game, especially I was still upset about it, and kind of just went and practiced with a different mindset that I needed to be better for the team, and got up in the gym today early and got some shots up, so I think that probably helped a little bit.
What's it like when you're in the zone like that? At one point you'd hit 7 of 8 on threes. Is it do you feel like you can't miss? What does it feel like to be that hot in a game?
Really, what does it feel like? I'd like to know.
I don't know. I mean, I think today I got a lot of open shots, and a couple of them, their hands were down, so they were just pretty easy threes, I guess. It wasn't really pressured threes.
You not only get a lot of points, but you had 8 rebounds, and you shot very efficiently. Where would this rank in your mind among your better performances?
Shooting-wise, the best probably. Could have took care of the ball, 5 turnovers. So, I don't know. Shooting-wise, the best though.
Coach, you guys went into the locker room tied in rebounds with 20 apiece, but then you came out and you had plus 16. What did you say in the locker room at halftime that maybe kind of sparked that or changed that?
We did talk about that. We talked about a couple of things. I believe, if I recall, they had 12 offensive rebounds in the first half, and that's kind of what we were keen on because they get a lot of their points off second chance points and offensive rebounds, second and third opportunities. So we talked about that. We talked about the fact that they had 12 points off of turnovers. And we talked about we felt like that we were allowing them to be physical with us. We didn't feel like we were matching their physical play. So those are some of the things which all ties into the rebounding and that. And I thought we did. That's one of the first things I said when we walked off the court. I said we did a better job second half rebounding. But it was a point of emphasis and concentration.
What does it mean for you guys today? Playing in the annual pink game, supporting or honoring Kay Yao, supporting Susan B. Komen and all that. What does that mean for you guys?
It's a, this is a awareness game. This is a breast awareness game, and it's not just the awareness factor. It's the success stories that are out there. It's the many cancer survivors, and it's not just breast cancer survivors. There's so many cancer survivors out there, and I had a chalk talk beforehand where most of the room was filled with pink, and a lot of those survivors. And I look at that as celebrating a success story, and that's also a big part of it as well.
Obviously, a lot of the talk about this game will center around Keena's points and Akil's double-double, but you held Houston to 25% shooting in the first half and actually got tighter on defense in the second. They hit 23%. Was that sort of an off day for them, or did you do something to ratchet up the defense in this game? What was your key to the defensive approach today?
Well, our key in concentration, point of emphasis, was they don't score a high percentage off their first shot. They score a high percentage off their second and third shots. So, they get a lot of shots because they give themselves a lot of opportunities, and we saw that in the first half. But I thought for the most part, we rotated better. I thought we closed out. But, this is a team that we're not going to body up to. We're not going to play tight. I mean, some of their players are so darn fast with that first step, and they're really good going to the basket, and that's what I was concerned about matching up. But we came out matched up the second half, and until they hit a couple layups, we did a pretty good job. I think it's important. We're a team that has to change defenses a lot. We can't stay in one defense for a long time. And that's part of that's who we are. That's kind of the face of our defense.
Keena, you left the game with about 4 minutes left. Were you aware at that point that you'd tied your career high, and did you lobby with the coaches to try to go back in and set a new record for you?
I didn't know I was had beat it or tied it. You said
Tied it.
Yeah, I thought I had 6 before. So.
Well, yeah, you had already set your personal high in threes, but in points you had 34, which you also had, I think, at UTEP.
Yeah.
Were you lobbying with the coaches to go back in and try to break that?
A little bit, but I was kind of on both sides. I just told her that I wouldn't get hurt if I went back in. But like I told her, it wasn't meant to be, because then I went in there and missed some shots and missed free throws and got a turnover, I think. So, but I didn't get hurt.
Well, I'll give you my perspective on that, because this is sort of maybe thinking kind of like a head coach thinking ahead and watching the game, watching how physical the game is, and at that point, that's when it was getting physical. I think the officials were letting us play at that time, and I was getting a little concerned, and I took her out, and then I got one assistant over here lobbying to put her back in. And I'm not even going to tell you what I told him I would do if she goes in and gets hurt. But I said to myself, all right, we'll call timeout, we'll call an inbounds play, maybe see if she can, break the three-point record. And I don't like to do that, but I wanted to give her a chance. And then she went in and missed 2 free throws. So we thought it's probably not meant to be, so we got her out. Of course, I was holding my breath the whole time.
Well, when you played, you scored an awful lot too. Did you sort of put yourself in her shoes and think that you would want to go back in and take a crack at that?
Seriously? No way. No way. I didn't even think about that for a moment. I'm thinking about the fact that if she goes out there and gets hit the way the game was going, I'm thinking that I'm going to go through the roof.
Get an and one.
Time for one more.
Coach, you kind of talked about how this kind of stops that bad momentum that y'all had coming into this game, but what does a win like this do going forward into the tough stretch at the end of the year?
Well, we got a big game coming up Saturday against Memphis. We won in overtime, but we're kind of neck and neck with some teams, and really trying to position ourselves in the standings, especially for the tournament. It's important that if we can try and secure a bye, the top 6 teams get a bye in the tournament, and you kind of everybody's jockeying for a position. We didn't help ourselves with the loss to UCF, but then Cincinnati turns around and beats Memphis the other day, and then today Cincinnati beats Temple. So it would be important for us to try and come up with a win against Memphis, because that means, for some reason, if we both have the same amount of wins, we have beaten them twice. And so that's, you know, as you kind of look ahead there, but it is a big game. Memphis, to me, is a team that can put up a lot of points. They can, you know, they can shoot it. They have one player that's very dangerous, kind of like a Keena-like player, I think. Very dangerous, very good scorer, but also a good shooter. So, you know, that's going to be our focus right now. The important thing, too, about winning is you don't play for a week. And you want to come off that bye and coming off after a win, because it's really tough to go a week after you come off with a loss. So thankfully, after the UCF game, we had another game before the bye.